Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. So getting back into the working season here, as you can see the sun is shining and I'm actually a little bit warm in this hoodie. So we are ready to pour some exterior concrete. Let me show you what we got going on here. So we're down at Josh's house now. There's his house up there. If you remember, we did the steps and sidewalk and patio there. This is a garage with an apartment on top that he owns. He decided he wanted to go ahead and add a garage here. Kind of the same style as the one I did over at the property, where you pour the pad and the metal building goes right on top. Now, I'm sure the first thing you noticed is the amount of kickers. Now, this is the way these jobs tend to look when they are not for myself. Meaning that is, if you remember, when I poured mine, I didn't have as many kickers on it as I should have. Now this is a little bit of a different situation. Number one, I was out of kicker material, so I probably should have had 2 or 3 more kickers on each side than I did. However, the reason it pushed so bad was because the morning we poured it, we got hit with a ton of rain, so the ground was super soft. And even if I would have had another 5 or 6 kickers on it, they probably still would have pushed a little bit because the ground was so saturated with water and soft. So, just to make sure we didn't have anything like that happening this time, we went ahead and just went real overboard with the amount of kickers. Now the back corner of mine was like 3 feet thick. This is not even 2 feet. Those are two 2x8s, so we're going to be 16 inches thick on this back corner. So we took off a lot of weight pushing up against these forms. So yeah, this is pretty much overkill. We have this corner beefed up pretty good. We have this run, so I don't see any of these sides pushing. Josh got the plastic in. I'm going to go ahead, cut it, clean it up a little bit, and then we are going to go ahead and put these nice fiberglass rebar in and get them all tied together. And speak of the devil, there he is.
What's going on?
What's going on, buddy? You got Ronald on you.
Yep, he's out to do some work.
That's it. Start him young.
Yeah.
So just giving them the rundown of all the kickers so that we don't have a repeat of what happened over at the lead shed. Sure. Making sure nothing's going to push. We're going to go ahead and rebar it up.
Put plastic down to help keep any water from coming up through the concrete and making the top of the floor sweat. With Josh wanting to park his truck on this floor, I wanted to make sure we had a nice tight rebar grid to ensure we had as much protection as possible.
Here's our rebar grid. Josh decided to go a little bit crazy and just use up all of the rebar.
Yeah, can't overdo it.
He had these, I believe these are 5/8 rebar that he painted for a railing that he's no longer using. So we went ahead, as you can see, just kind of used our cutoff rebar here to provide some support down that side. And we got 2 rows of that going the whole way down, as well as around this corner. Now this corner, like I said, it's a little bit thicker. We're getting close to the hillside, so I wanted to make sure this corner was not going anywhere ever. And I believe we have accomplished that. Now that our rebar's in, plastic's down, our drain's set, just double check square tomorrow before we pour. We're going to go ahead and put chairs in underneath some of these intersections, just to help hold that rebar up off the ground. That way, we don't have to worry about trying to pick it up as we go. We are about 5 to 6 inches thick all through this pad, so she's ready for concrete tomorrow. All right, so me, Stan, and Jim, and Josh are down here Monday morning to get this pad all poured. Drain is squared, we did that. I ran down, the kickers yesterday, our nice tight rebar grid. Now, one thing I did want to point out is that there was an existing structure here before. So there is a concrete slab underneath our gravel. We do have probably, I want to say, about 3 inches of stone on top of the thinnest part. So we do have some separation between the old concrete and the new concrete pad, which again, that's going to allow for the water to kind of pass underneath and not get trapped. But as you can see, we don't have any pins on this front board. So we have a string line run. You can see it right there. And once we get back to pouring this, we're going to go ahead and push gravel up against it. Make sure this form stays nice and straight. Now, I can't remember if I said it yesterday, but I'm never taking somebody up to my property to sell them on a troweled smooth floor. That's why I didn't really care that my form's pushed. Now, when it comes to clients or friends, obviously you can see I take a little bit different approach. It is done excessively over the top, you know, no pushing here. Josh is a good friend of mine, so I want to make sure this slab looks a lot better than mine. Now, if it were something decorative for me, you know, stamped with a broken stone face, obviously I'm going to be bringing people over to look at that, to show them patterns or colors or whatever. So that's when, you know, stuff for me is taking very serious and, you know, braced up to the max. Just wanted to kind of clear that up. So we're doing this one top notch, rebarred, braced. It's going to be great. Okay, so there it is. 10 yards poured, bull floated. As you can see, all of the sides stayed nice and straight. This side's nice. Even the front here, where we were using gravel, stayed nice and straight. This is the corner though I was real worried about. but you know, as you can see, the kickers held really nice. And actually, we did get hit with a bunch of rain again this weekend, so this hillside pushed a little bit. You can see there's a gap in between the kicker and the pin, and that gap is still there. So this side did not move at all, which is a really, really nice thing to see. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a few minutes, let it tighten up. We'll go around the perimeter with an edge to clean that up, and then just wait until we can get on it to start troweling it. Oh, and I keep saying we, but it's now just me. Jim and Stan had to go back to my brother's to help up there. They're pouring a stamp patio and stuff. You can check that out on my dad's channel. He's filming that. We did the sport court this morning. Us three came down here to pour this. Stan and Jim are back to help finish off Tommy's patio. So jump over to my dad's channel. You can check that out, or stay here with me and watch the finish of Josh's floor. Hey Josh, what are you doing down there?
Oh, putting some concrete in some spots that
Making a waterfall.
making a waterfall.
There you go.
Even though we were in direct sunlight and I had heat reflecting off that white wall, I still put some calcium in it to help the concrete set up a little bit faster.
Put this on the front. Okay, so now that the side has been edged, you can see, you know, it stayed straight, and you can really see it now that the side has been edged. So I'm gonna start reaching in over here because it's getting pretty nice along this wall. Just the sunlight hitting off the siding, the heat being reflected down onto the concrete's making it set up a little bit faster there. Now, if there was another person here, I would probably just wait another probably 10 minutes or so. But because I'm by myself, it is very important that I do stay ahead of it. So anything that I can do now to make sure, you know, I'm ahead of the concrete, I'm not gonna lose it. I'm gonna do it because, you know, whether it's a friend or a customer, that is #1 priority, is make sure the finish is perfect. So yeah, we'll get the camera set up and show you guys that.
When troweling, you want to make sure on your first pass you make it look like an orange peel. This way you get a lot of cream brought to the surface, you're pushing the aggregate down, and then on your second pass it'll glaze right over and give you a really nice smooth finish.
Okay, so I'm sure you can see the difference there between the stuff that I buzzed over from the edge and the middle there, where I obviously couldn't reach because my arms aren't 10 feet long. Went ahead, flattened out the edges, re-rolled all of the edges as well, keep those nice and clean. I'll probably be giving this another 5 or 10 minutes, jumping on at the back side, working my way this way. I should be able to just come straight down the center, hitting this stuff, cleaning everything up on both sides of me, cleaning up the drain, and then working my way off. Okay, so this side over here is pretty much ready to finish. This side needs a few more minutes, so I'm going to jump on at that back corner, trowel my way out this way, get off, walk around, and then do the same thing, and hopefully this side will be ready by then. So my drone batteries are almost dead, so I'm saving the last of it for a final flyover, but I really hope you guys are enjoying that kind of footage because that's really fun for me and it gives a pretty neat perspective, so enjoy. Okay guys, we are all finished up. Second pass went really nice, and as you can see, the top is really nice and smooth while maintaining a little bit of texture, so that, like I said previously, it's not an ice skating rink for Josh if this floor gets a little wet. The sides, as you can see again, are all nice and straight, nothing pushed. I mean, the troweling went awesome. Very little downtime on this one. A little bit of calcium in the concrete. Sun hitting it, it went awesome. The surface area was probably about 8 yards of finishing, but we used about 9.5, 9 3/4 yards because we went about 6 inches thick with that really thick side. So the last two things that I need to do are pull all the pins and then put my saw cuts in tomorrow, but don't really think you guys care to see that, so we will end it here. So I want to thank you guys. There's Josh and Ronald. How's it look, guys?
Looks awesome, Steve.
Good enough for a building?
I'd say so. Premium work.
Looks better than my pad, huh?
I didn't see that on the other side where it pushed, but it looks really nice, Steve.
Well,
Good
thanks.
job.
Glad you guys like it. Building's getting installed here soon.
Yep.
Now, actually, I didn't go over this, but we're going, what, 3 inches in on each side?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, so the building's 18 by 25. We did 18.5 by 25.5.
yeah, so you'll have 3 inches of overhang. That way, when they drill their anchors down, you know, there's a nice chunk of concrete to bite onto, and they're not drilling right on the edge.
Right.
So, all right. Well, that's going to do it. I want to thank you guys for tuning back in to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. If you liked what you saw, please click the like and subscribe. Don't forget to like us on Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.